What's up YouTube? It's your girl Rochelle and I'm back with another video. Now in today's video, I wanted to share our fire number, our lean fire number, and what that means as far as our current situation and our goals. And I want to share what the breakdown is looking like so far. So if that's something you'd be interested in, then stick around. Now first up, if you're new to the whole FIRE thing, FIRE is an acronym that stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. There are all different types of FIREs and all different types of ways to achieve FIRE. We are choosing the lean option because we plan to move internationally and to live off of less. So for us, our goal is $1,125,000. So let's talk more about what FIRE is just to get started. Basically, the whole FIRE movement basically means that you can retire early. That's the whole point. Now, you choose what that number is when it happens, and really more so, there's a lot of people who achieve FIRE who continue to work, but maybe they, instead of, working for corporate America, they choose to work in their line of passion and really meet some of their life goals. And so you will see people who will retire by the age of 30, by the age of 40 or 50. For us, since we're starting late in the game because we had so much debt to knock out, consumer debt, we cannot retire until at least the age of 50 years old, but we plan to do what we can to get that number down. So the basic idea is to create a situation where you have enough income coming in from your investments or your other passive sources to enable you to be able to quit your job anytime you're ready. Now, it does, like I said, it doesn't mean you're going to quit, but it will give you that option. And there's so much freedom that comes with that. And so the whole concept of FIRE, means that you are now free to do what you want. You can take a year off and travel the world. You can spend time with your children or your grandchildren. You can pursue things that you may have always wanted to do. And so every time I see people talk about FIRE, I'm always, wondering how much money do you really need to reach FIRE? So the first thing you have to do is run the numbers, right? So grab any calculator, FIRE calculator online and figure out what your numbers are. And I highly recommend websites like smartasset.com, moneyunder30.com, and there's like so much information. But basically, once you come up with your number that you need to become financially independent, you will basically choose whether you want to stick to the 4%, which is the safe withdrawal rate, or a variety of other options. For us personally, since we're just starting out, we're trying to keep it nice and simple, nice and easy. We are choosing to grow our retirement and grow our investments so that we can use the 4% rule. So basically what that means is once you've reached this rate, you will be able to invest and withdraw safely 4% of your portfolio every year without ever running out of money while you're retired. Because who wants to retire and then have to go back to work? Now, if you retire and you choose to go back to work, that's a whole different story, right? So once you basically come up with that amount, you calculate the size of your portfolio to be 25 times the annual cost of living that you currently have right now. So say you rely on $50,000 per year just to keep your current lifestyle. So that would be your housing, what you spend on food and shopping, clothes, all that type stuff. You would want to take that number 50,000 and multiply it by 25, which is, I guess, the amount of years you have left on earth once you quit your job. And so that will give you $1.25 million. So for us, we are a little bit under, and really, I can honestly see us achieving FIRE mentally at $800,000 or $900,000. I think that we would be like so good with that number. But for my husband, he likes to always do a little extra, so hence the 1.125 million. Okay, so let's now talk about our breakdown. So first up, let's talk about our current situation. Currently, our investments total $138,826.36. I thought that was pretty good, but we're still behind, but it's okay. Next up is real estate. Real estate, we have a home, our primary home, which is valued at $150,000. Next up is cash savings. We have about $6,000 on average in cash. We have had upwards of $20,000 and $30,000 saved, but we just finished investing into our real estate, which is our primary home. I guess I shouldn't call it our primary home anymore because like we moved to Hawaii officially, but our home in Maryland. And so that property we invested in. We upgraded the bathrooms, the kitchen, all the stuff they tell you to do, checked all those boxes. And so we have invested in our home so that it is set for a good while. And so that came at an expense because we cash flowed the entire thing. So our cash savings definitely took a hit. We'll build it back up. Don't worry. Now, this category that I've left here is for Eva, and this is her savings and her investments. These are the things that we really are just starting to roll out, but I still want to track them anyway. My husband and I haven't even really had a chance to sit down and discuss next steps because the first goal was to start, which we did. We started investing for ourselves last year. We started investing for our daughter this year. So basically we have about $100 that we know for sure that we feel comfortable counting as money invested. Savings, we actually had a huge amount of money saved for Eva, but she actually wanted to start her own business, and so we invested in her dream. This is why it's so important to have money so that you can do the things you want to do when you want to do them. And so we liquefied all of that money, and she started her business, Eva's HawaiianSheaButter.com. So feel free to check it out. She still does have a small amount of certain scents left, and we will be restocking next month. So let's add all of that up. What's 138,826.36 plus 150,000 plus 6,000 plus 100?
The answer is 294,926.36.
That's an answer.
So in total, we have about $294,926.36 on hand in different formats. I just realized I wrote this down in the wrong way. Okay, so that'll be our current. This is that realness, trying to be fancy. This is our current situation. Now let's talk about our goals. Those are the numbers now, but now let's talk about the goals. So the goals for our fire number, in order to achieve that 1.125 million, we will have to grow our stocks and investments to at least $1 million. And I'm pretty confident we can do that because if we achieve this amount, $138,826.36, without even realizing it, and that's from a combination of different investment portfolios, then I'm pretty confident that we can definitely double that year over year. Next up is real estate. Our home is not in the best area, so we are already ecstatic that it's worth $150,000, but our goal is to double. Is to quadruple our investment. We invested $50,000 to buy it and purchase it. And so we want to make sure that this property is like the top tier for our neighborhood. It is the comp, if you will. And so to do that, we hope to have $200,000 as our number. We are still making different upgrades to the home. We just finished doing full upgrades to the bathrooms, the kitchen, the TV and laundry areas, all types of things. And so now I'd love to do some smaller projects such as fencing, outdoor fencing, and just really leveling that property up to the point where it is the property in the neighborhood. Okay, so next up is cash savings. This is going to be the toughie. We want to save $50,000. If I'm being honest, my husband wants to save $200,000, but I believe in achievable goals. I need bite-sized stuff, and so for me, $200,000 is just a lot, especially since we just purchased a Tesla. And so we're gonna start it out nice and easy at $50,000. Fun fact: my husband always tells this story. He's like, "Oh yeah, I asked my mom how much money should I have saved in the bank, and she told him $200,000." And so that's why that's always his go-to number. Next up is Eva's savings and her investments. We definitely want to save $25,000. It could be any type of combination, but we really want to be able to literally give her this money or this investment portfolio ready to go at the age of 18. She's already started her own business. Like I've mentioned, she's already made her first $1,000 from that business. We don't count any of that money. That is her money to spend, to save, to invest back into her business. But she actually budgets all of that herself. She has her own credit card. And so we don't include any of those numbers in our budget experience because she's pretty much a well-oiled machine. She does a great job saving money. Okay, so let's talk about motivation, right? Because this is a huge, huge deal to just start saving a massive amount of money, start investing all the money. And so to stay on track, I recommend, highly, highly recommend watching content to inspire you. And as mentioned in a previous video, that involves my recommendations. I recommend Mommy Trader, Road to Fire, and Fun and Budget with Tanisha Davis. These ladies are killing it. They are doing so much with their money. And just remember, I am on the low end of this FIRE journey because I am starting it early. We still have debt in our household. We just bought a Tesla. We still have about $18,000 left on our mortgage to pay off. And we have a little bit of consumer debt that is interest free right now that we need to knock out. So that is just our personal experience, is that we've always accomplished multiple goals at the same time. My husband and I do that so that we both feel like we're getting something out of it, and within reason, of course. But so, I highly recommend to find what works for you in your personal household, but watching content creators like those three ladies will definitely get you started. And the most fun part about it is all three are working toward their financial goals in three different ways. So let me know in the comments below if you have any channels that you subscribe to that you find motivating. But I definitely recommend starting the FIRE journey as soon as possible so that you can realize where you are in the whole scheme of things, because we thought we had more time and the reality is we don't. We are in our late 30s, y'all. So it is time for us to really catch up, and I'm fully confident that we'll be able to do that because knowledge is power. Okay. Now, second thing is to read. Oh, look at them two R's. Recommend, read, hey. And so the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, are you debt free? If you're not, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's all different ways. You can do audiobook, read Kindle, read a hardback, whatever you want to do. But I highly recommend reading books such as that. Of course, any of the Dave Ramsey books or his daughter, Rachel Cruz. All of those are great. Now, if you are debt free, then you're ready for the next experience. Congrats to you. But books such as Millionaire Next Door really are good. In fact, another recommendation I have is to read these books at different points in your journey. When I first started out on the debt-free journey, I read all of the Dave Ramsey books and all of these Rachel Cruz books and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I just recently reread Rich Dad, Poor Dad after becoming consumer debt-free for the first time last year. And my mindset was totally different. I could not believe how much more I cared about his story because the first time I read it, I was like, but the second time it really hit home. So highly recommend Millionaire Next Door. And I'm going to do the same. I haven't read Millionaire Next Door in a couple years? I don't know. But I'm going to reread it because your mindset changes and evolves over time, y'all. The last thing that I highly recommend is to track your progress. I'm talking net worth trackers, investment trackers, all the jazz. For this video, I definitely recommend using an investment calculator. There's all different types. I mean, they have them, just for fire calculators, real estate calculators, all types of things. Start small, just pick one thing. The first thing to do is gain the knowledge. It took me a long time to get to this point to even start talking about FIRE. And like I said, most people who are in our current financial situation wouldn't even start the FIRE journey. But for us, it makes sense to, because we like having goals to try and achieve. So definitely recommend. And just remember, your FIRE goal is the amount of money that you should have to maintain your current standard of living once you reach retirement. Now, that goal for us is different because we don't plan on living in Hawaii and being retired in Hawaii. No, thank you. We plan on retiring internationally, but what we have to do is start where we are. So we don't know what the future will hold. So we're just going to use the assumption that we are retiring from Hawaii to Mexico. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace, love, and budgets.